What's going on, everybody? Billy Glowacki here with Unchained Potential. Welcome back to another Whiteboard Wednesday video. This is number 7. We're going to be talking about consistency. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's topic, I want to quickly just run through a foundational belief that we have at Unchained Potential, and this will help kind of paint a good picture for you guys to understand the consistency that we're going to refer to today. So, switch sides here. The three pillars of stress, or the 3 areas of your life that we want to optimize and positively impact, are going to be your physical stresses, your chemical stresses, and your psychological stresses. So when I talk about physical stresses, I want you to think about movement, training, and your rest and your recovery. When I talk about chemical stresses, I want you to think about macro and micronutrients, water or hydration, and your sleep. And the third pillar of stress that we're going to try to optimize and positively impact is going to be psychological. And so I want you to think about your self-awareness, self-confidence, and your mindset. Okay? So now that we understand a foundation of ways that we want to impact you, what we're going to talk about today is consistency, and it's about applying consistency to all 3 areas of these stresses, and that is what is going to lead to your success. So, moving on to your success, what do you need to be successful? When we're talking about these 3 areas of your life, I believe number 1, and what we're going to talk about, it's consistency, right? The 3 things that I have is consistency, effort, and approach. I think we can be pretty sure that if you want to get better and you want to be successful, number 2, effort, you're probably giving that, right? We can agree that you're probably giving effort. Now, is it the best effort? For some people, maybe not. Maybe you do need to give more effort. Okay? So, what about number 3, approach? Well, I think most people have a decent approach. If you don't have a good approach, my last 2 videos, I believe it's number 5 and number 6, I give you a basic training program to follow with progressions. I also give you a basic nutrition program to follow with progressions. So aside from that, the internet has tons of stuff. There's plenty of people that are willing to help, personal trainers. And also you could think about getting a coach. If you're at a place in your life where you need a coach to make sure that your approach is spot on, maybe it's time to invest in a coach. I don't know what that looks like for you, but I think that what you'll see is the number 1 thing that's affecting your success is your consistency, okay? And in order for us to decide if that is correct, try something on yourself, okay? And so what I've got for you for some kind of practical application, a little takeaway for you, I've got 4 different areas that I think most people will be looking to progress and be successful in. And what I have is about 2 or 3 different ways that you can measure your progress, and that will help you to determine which one of these 3 areas is holding you back if you aren't successful. So the 4 areas that I've got: movement, fat loss, muscle growth, and strength gain. Fat loss and muscle growth, those 2 are going to be, you're going to track pretty much the same exact things. It's just in which direction those variables are moving that's going to tell you if you're doing things correctly. So for movement, first thing, 2 very simple things that you can do to track to see if you are progressing optimally. Overhead squat test. The other thing would be a 10-minute squat test. If you don't know what these are, you can look them up, but very quickly, 10-minute squat test, you're going to drop down in a squat, and you're going to see, most of you guys aren't going to make it 10 minutes, most of you aren't even going to make it 5 minutes, but whenever you start to feel burn somewhere, it might be in your shins, it could be in your hips, it could be in your low back, that gives you an idea of, oh, I'm limited in this area of this movement, this is where I need to concentrate my focus. And the overhead squat, same thing, you can take a video or even pictures of yourself throughout the overhead squat profile, and you can start to see, oh wow, I'm limited here, here's where I need to focus my efforts, okay? So, next would be fat loss and muscle growth. The 3 variables that I think you should use, and there's many, but you could do progress pictures, weight and waist measurements, and measurements in general, so body fat. If you're looking for muscle growth, you can measure your arms, your chest, your shoulders, your legs, whatever the case may be. Use these variables and track them and see if they're moving. For muscle growth, you're going to want, you're going to want your weight to go up a little bit. You're going to want your waist to stay relatively the same. You're going to want some of those measurements to get bigger because your goal is to grow. If it's to lose fat, you want those measurements to go down. You want your progress pictures, when you look at them, you should see them move. Okay, I'm moving towards a leaner physique, or I'm moving towards a more muscular physique, whatever the case may be. And lastly, strength gains. 3 things that I think will be great: back squat, pull up, and push press. I don't believe everyone needs to 1 rep max these. I don't think that would be optimal. I would say anywhere from 3 to 8 reps. If you're very, very into strength, you're a more advanced lifter, I think you can get away with testing your 3 rep maxes. Again, and I think you should be doing these things about once a month. Test these 3 movements and see if they're progressing. Now that you kind of have an idea of what you need to be tracking and observing, when you do that, we're going to revert back to and figure out which one of these areas am I not adhering to the best. Again, like I said, I think you're all going to be giving effort. I think most of you can find an approach that's going to be good for you. I think what you'll see is that consistency is what you are limited by. You aren't consistent enough. Think about it like this. If you go to the dentist and they say, wow, you don't have very good teeth, your gums look bad, you have cavities, you need to be doing X, Y, and Z. If you go home and you get the best toothbrush, and you get the best toothpaste, you got mouthwash, you got floss, if you wake up the next morning and brush and floss and rinse and do all that, are your teeth just better the next day? Absolutely not. And so the same thing is going to be true here, and that's that common idea that I really want to hammer you guys with, is consistency. Be consistent. Your teeth aren't going to get better the next day. Your movement, your fat loss, your muscle growth, your strength, that's not going to get better the next day. It takes consistent effort and an optimal approach. So if you are having trouble with approach, again, reach out. Maybe it's something I can help you with. You could also reach out to Mitch. Maybe you're having trouble with the movement. Reach out to Mitch. He can optimize that for you. This one right here, if you want to get better, we don't even need to be talking about that. You need to be giving effort. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to consistency. And if you can do this, if you can adhere to this, your success, it's going to be really good, guys. So that's what I've got for you today. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, stay unchained.